I don't even want to do the sound effects. I don't want to get no. I could look at you with my eyes, be nice to you, and share my energy with you. Just to think about the concept of me having to give you bun. Who has time for that? Besides, that's too much energy in your hole. You need to chill. You feel me? You can't be running up with every energy and now you cross this wall. Sometimes you have to rest your front. Sometimes it be you, that's the problem, because you stuck on another nigga's dick. You stuck on the look that the old nigga used to give. Rest your front. Yes, I am advocating for that. Rest your front. Fall in love with yourself again. Do a couple kegels. It might be you. Yeah, but I'm not saying that that's for everybody. You understand what I said? Like, and again, I think in the beginning part of the conversation, it was, oh, well, if things was one way and then it switch up. All right. So look at this. Look at people who you start off in a relationship. You don't have any kids, right? You have time and opportunity to give to each other, to figure out all the freaky deaky, anything that makes you happy. You start pissing these little children out, these little humans, and then it switches, because when I have time and opportunity, as soon as you go to the door and I'm nose wide open for you, well, guess what? Now I'm nose wide open for the fact that legally I have to be responsible for humans who also have to take a shower, and they have to make sure they showered properly, and they have to lotion and get dressed, and they have to put up the wet towel, and then the homework have to do, and they have to eat, and they have to, and it's not to say that these are things that no other relationship has, but if you are a little selfish bastard and you want me to give you all of my time, but you want to give me all of your babies, now you have to make a choice. See, when the demographic in the relationship changes, things are going to change. If it is a situation where you work, right? Maybe you was working a regular 9 to 5. Now you work an overnight shift. Most people have sex at night. If you're not there, amiga, work at daytime. When did you propose that we was gonna... You understand? If it's a situation where I'm in school or you're in school, these are all things that it's like, yo, and this is what comes with the strength of a relationship, because things will change sometime. It doesn't mean it's permanent. It doesn't mean it's forever. Nonetheless, even simple stuff, like there's some men and women who are really aggravated by like weight gain and stuff like that. And I mean, I've never come across a person that petty, but if you got a big old like wanga in front of you, like, I'm gonna need you to tighten that shit up, because now I have to lift up your belly to find it, and that's a turn off to me. Not me personally, but some people are like that. You understand what I said? And it's not right, but that's once those things start to come up and it makes anyone feel bad, the conversation is gonna always be uncomfortable. But when you make a person feel bad about it, your relationship was already messed up before. It was a problem in it before. And chances are they're pressing you now about the quality of sex because they done already had sex with somebody else, and that sex got them exactly where they needed to be, which is fine. You should go and have sex with that other person. And they should also wash your clothes, cook for you, take care of you, pity them, listen to your mama when she want on the phone. All the shit that come with it. You can't just be getting sex and nothing else. How you feel like? Nah. That's the old package.
Is that old package? It's probably the old thing.
What it says, so you guys don't believe in teach yourself or teach your mate how you prefer to be pleased. It doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't know how to beat up meat. I mean, yeah,
it depends.
Yes and no. Here's the thing.
It depends, because sometimes you have certain people who is not that experienced.
Well, go have sex with some other people first, and then come see me.
But if you buck up on somebody where you like, where can give you the thing, but just is not as experienced as a certain style, as certain thing, why wouldn't you be able to
you should be able to. You should be able to. You should.
Inexperience doesn't mean that you can't function, you can't stand in the thing. Inexperience doesn't mean that you can't stand the woman. Inexperience just is that you don't go around and fuck a lot of people. You understand what I mean?
I agree, but I'm just gonna and again, it makes a difference. This advice make a difference though with the age group that you're dealing with also, because when you're a big person, and when I say a big person, I mean I'm gonna say 25 to 40, right? And the reason why I say that, at that age and stage of life, you kind of have experienced certain things already that lets you know what you want, what you like, and things of that nature. If you under 25, let fuck be free. Cause guess what? You have to test out the waters for you to know what you like.
I agree.
Does it matter? But I'm gonna be honest with you. that's not an easy conversation to have, to try to teach a man new tricks, because in every man's head,
it's a psychological thing
it
too, you know, you
is.
want to kind of way, you know, but it depends on how comfortable you are with your partner. You're supposed to be able to talk and discuss and do anything with your partner if you're at that comfort zone with your partner. I mean,
Exactly. But if you are like just 2 months into this relationship and the sex is
it,
bad, just gonna leave. Just
yeah, it
chill.
would have worked.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, because off top you're already making the person feel some type of way.
It's not gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. Yeah.
When you said, I think you guys sometimes are so reactive, to the point where there's no more patience. And I mean, that might just be maybe the people that you have come across. That's not true. But it depends, again, on the level of relationship. If you're not at the level of a relationship, I would tell you, honest to God, do not bring up that conversation. If the sex is that bad to you and you're not fulfilled sexually, walk away. Because if we don't have no foundation and no stability, and you complaining to me about sex, my natural reaction is going to be, well, shit, go fuck somebody else. It's just that. And it's not necessarily the right reaction, but it's like, damn, you pressing me about sex. Did you ever ask me if I was satisfied? What if I was sitting here putting on and you was the one that was trashed the whole time? Because a lot of men don't realize that. Let me tell y'all this thing that hurt y'all feelings. And I know a lot of you was born with a baby. Oh my God. But guess what? That big dick don't mean shit if you don't know what to do. If you can't move your waistline, you understand? If you're just like, listen, this is not a hump and pump situation. Do you have another appointment after this? Let me know what's up. You're not gonna come abuse my pum pum so and just so. Nah. You understand? I get that sometimes. We got 15 minutes so we can make that shit happen. But that's not how it's gonna be. And a lot of man need to understand, say, yo, I get it. When y'all was young, everybody teeth and watch through the little blues at nighttime or the little HBO shit. So you probably ain't really jumped in a lot of pum pum and have no experience. Get some experience, because your style, where you feel like you bring, is not a style. You just have a big old worthless hood. That's it. I said what I said. Period.
Sipsy.
Crush your spliff. And
Johnny brother had a lot to say tonight.
Oh, that girl on our big wall and the pause. While I've never had that personally happen, I feel very offended when a man says that. Do you realize that your mother is also the inhabitant of a big wall because your big redundant ass came through it? You understand? So with that being said, you got a big wall. Find one wall and work the wall. Work the corner. Do what you have to do then if that be the case.
Empress,
you
read that one to me. Read that one
but
to
if
me.
you just have one big old load that you don't know what to do with it, or you just a send on, and that shit is up in my chest, and I'm hurting. Like, if I'm ouch is not what I'm aiming for. You understand? You have some man, them that understand, say, yo, do you know that nipples are attached to our body? Like, we actually feel that. So when you bite me, not nibble, not lick a pinch, not lick a play. When you bite me like you think it's a damn red piece, no, that shit hurts. I will push you up. Get the fuck out of here. Excuse me. But you understand the message? And so to not make it awkward before a man or a woman, bring this conversation to their partner. Make sure your sex is A1. Okay, make sure everything that your partner like, love, and in between is on point, because you might get your feelings hurt with your own truth.
Read that pin comment.
What is that? Now let's make this clear. No woman should be teaching any blood clot man how to fuck at all. Period. I'm saying when you meet someone new on the first connection, may throw both you guys off. I mean,
Him say one. Wait, hold on. Him say one. Have a conversation with.
Woo! Oh, I can't.
You.
With me about what? About sex? Shit, I'm gonna tell you what it is. Don't get your feelings hurt. Because I'm gonna tell you right now what a lot of people don't understand. Good sex.
What if you take your
good sex? Great sex. You know where great sex starts? Right here.
If ready to take it on. That's true. That's definitely true. That
That's it.
connection
You
that
see,
you have.
if the things out your mouth don't even get me to that place where I feel like, ooh, I got that.
That's
So
true.
that's what I'm saying. You say you don't need no more than 3 slam to know whether or not you and this person have potential to have good sexual chemistry.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
And
That's
I've had
hard up
great
here.
sexual chemistry with people who I have no business being in a relationship with. They don't even have the authority to speak on my life.
Hold on there. Lady M.
I heard you. I said, go ahead and take me off.
All right, give me 1 minute. I'll get back in a moment. 1 second. All right, that's correct. No,
I'm ready to take it on.
Let me on now. I
with
just like your
man.
buddy. Sorry.
Turn it back around. We can't see you. Yeah.
Listen, you're not hard interrupting me. All right, good.
Wagwan.
Hello.
What's up?
Good night, good night. Welcome to Talk to Me.
Wagwan. Listen, let me make this abundantly clear, okay? What's her name? Let me see if I can remember her name. Her name is China Browning. I am in agreement with you 110%. I think we got a little bit misconstrued a little bit while what I'm actually typing. What I was saying is there's it shouldn't be a case where you have to teach a mate how to pretty much please you. I agree with that. What I'm saying is, which is why I used the word initially, being reactive. Let's just say you meet someone and, before you guys put a title on the relationship, right? The sex was great. And I'm just going about, the initial, topic that we're talking about. Sex was great. And in between that, the sex just get whacked out all of a sudden. You see what I'm saying? I was thinking, based on where we were going with the conversation, I'm saying like, I think there's a breakdown of communication, because if it's a case where we met to the point where we were connected organically to the point where we put a title on the relationship. Obviously, there was something there initially. So what I'm saying is, let's just say the sex get walked after the fact. Do you walk after that, or you sit your mate down and talk to him? That's why you sent me a message earlier. I say, yo, what's wrong with teaching the mates? Listen, maybe the way how we started out and how, where we are right now, maybe we need to switch it up a little bit. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so to answer, I'm assuming this is for the group, but I will answer in my opinion.
Right.
Again, to answer that question, it depends on the situation, because it depends on the demographic, the age.
So let me piggyback from that. So let's just say a title is already on the relationship.
So the title is on the relationship that you guys are in a relationship, right?
Right.
Okay, so I would ask you this now, right? And I'm gonna just use you as a prime example.
Right.
If the sex don't just get up one day and just like, not after there was a title and all of that.
Right.
What led up to the sex becoming to that point?
There's
always something that leads up to that. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that you cannot bring that to your partner, but you got to really sit down and analyze it in a way that you got to hold yourself accountable for your behavior as well. Maybe you might have did something different now and didn't realize it, that you triggered something in that person, or maybe you start move funny, so the person start move funny.
It can be a number of different variables. You're correct. So here's the deal. This is why I'm saying that, it's very important for you to meet someone who you can actually, communicate with effectively. Okay? On so many different levels. Not just sex, but on so many different levels. Because a thing like sex that we already know how important it is to pretty much continue to build a relationship. I'm saying is, if there's a breakdown with someone who I've been craving since I met her or him, it's a general thing. You see what I'm saying? I want to know why the fuck is it, we're not having sex on a regular basis anymore.
So it's okay. Well, hold on. Now stick a pin, because I wanted you to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Okay.
Because for the most part, it's not that people complain about whack sex after a while. They complain about the consistency and how much sex they are having. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If it's a man or a woman that's putting on in the beginning of the relationship where it's constantly, that's great. But remember, whatever you present in the beginning is a person that wants to be with you, whatever you present in the beginning of the relationship, they're going to take it 80-20. That means if you give them great sex 100% of the time, that means there's an 80% chance you're going to have great sex, and there's a 20% chance where, hey, shit's going to go left. Right. So again, to get back to what you were saying, if it's about the consistency or the amount of sex that you are having, what is it that got it to that point? If it is a situation where the person was faking the whole time, then there's no reason, even if you was head over heels for this person and you think you guys have such a connection, if the person was just doing it to get you, and then they got you, and so forget it. Right. I mean, if you genuinely check for that relationship, I guess you could mention it, but know that once you mention it, it's a strong possibility that it could be a wrap. Maybe the sex was hot and heavy in the beginning, and maybe the way you was making the person feel, or the person was making you feel, was everything you needed.
Right. So here's why I disagree with you up until you make that point just now, saying that, you know what I mean, after we have this conversation, we find out exactly what really caused or what are the true issues. Because, you know, keep in mind, it can be a number of different variables why there was a breakdown initially. Let's just keep that a buck.
But you're saying, in the case that you're saying, it's a lack of consistency in the amount of sex. Like if you used to have sex 5 times a week and now it went down to 2, that's the problem.
Yeah, but so this is what I'm saying. It could be a number of different variables. It can be, you know what I mean, a change of career. Exactly. So I'm saying so exactly. So what I'm saying is that's not reason enough to walk away from someone who you met, who you already put aside. So you know what? This person could be the next person I spend the rest of my life with. And just because, hold on, just because that person now show up for me the way, you know, sexually, consistently, you know what I mean? Him still fuck me the way you want to get fuck, you know. But him now do it like 5 times per week anymore.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip it on you.
Hold on. That is not reason enough for you to walk away from a relationship.
If sex is that important to you, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If sex drop down from 5 days to 2 days, right?
If a person knows that they are a sexual being and it is that important to them, no matter how much, if you know it's going to cause you to eventually get them bun or possess something or do something that could potentially hurt their feelings because of sex, I better you just tell them the truth from good morning. Because you cannot go into nobody's head and reprogram their software.
I'm gonna tell you that you can't. So here's what. That comes with a level of maturity. And this is what I'm gonna tell people all the time. Age has nothing to do with maturity. That comes with a level of maturity. Because let's just say I'm a DJ, I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, or whatever. And you know, before, you know, my blow up show it. You know what I mean? You know, now I'm gonna get a few gigs locally around town, and now, you know what I mean, you know, we did so much marketing to the point where we have to do shows, you know, out of state. So that's gonna pretty much allow me not to be at home as much. So you're gonna tell me, say, oh, me and you together right now, you're gonna cheat?
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You have a point, but I'm gonna ask you this. So you and the person was down for how long, or whatever the case may be?
5 years. Let's just say 5 years.
Right? Okay. Did the person know that your end all be all is for you to become an international?
Absolutely. All of that was talked about initially when we just met.
Okay. And now if the person starts to complain because the plan is happening, remember this. For everything that you pour an extra energy into, something else has to suffer. So if the person told you that they was down from good morning, and all of a sudden now it's some next shit, to be honest with you, it's better they tell you from good morning, because that person is not going to be able to be conducive to your lifestyle.
Wrong answer. And this goes for the host, and you as well. From a male's perspective, you know what your job is supposed to do at that point after being in a relationship for 5 years with that man? Guess what?
Well, hold on. Before you go there, so can you answer the host, you know, so I must be here talking now.
Yeah, man.
But her opinion, it don't have to be the same. My opinion
it's some more pretty much, you know, so you guys can understand from a male perspective. That's why I'm pretty much point out all three out.
Okay.
Here's how you treat that from a female standpoint right now, and you have some good points, and I love it for that. What you should do at that point as a mate to that man, if you know your urges and you know that they're uncontrollable when it comes down to having sex, You're gonna be
Repeat yourself.
Repeat that. You just broke up.
you're gonna be on the road wherever. If he's in, if he's in Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta, you're gonna be right
And
there
when
with
you
him.
have kids with that
Right
man,
there.
how are you gonna have a life on the road and raise your children in a stable household and be there for the man
Okay, so
and
this is
still have your
so
consistent
this is
sex?
where we communicate. The point I'm trying to make, it doesn't, it sounds to me as if, every single problematic issues a relationship faces, it forces the next person to think about cheating or walking away, not knowing
Yeah.
not knowing that you only get a very vast amount of organic chemistry in your lifetime.
Can you
Yes, that's
elaborate
correct.
on that?
Well, okay, I will. Thanks for asking. Organic chemistry meaning someone who you connect with organically, if that makes sense.
I
Meaning that,
Yeah.
understand what organic
meaning,
mean, but I would
meaning.
like for you to explain it for everyone else to make sure we all on the same page because I
Okay,
have
so
an answer for that.
you don't get that level, a connection whenever you meet everyone new, if that makes
But it's
sense.
because of it's not going to be that level of connection with every person. And if you have 5 years in with this
Right.
person,
So why would you run the risk of damaging just because I'm going on the road for just 1 week?
no, that's stupid. Now, come on, you didn't say that. If you're on tour and
You
you're
didn't
working
say
for
1 week.
1 week or whatever, that's
Well, I'm
different.
just.
You understand? You ain't say
Come on,
all that.
in your dress,
I
you
didn't.
can't
You
I
go
gotta.
have
didn't.
You
sex for
can't
I
just
one
say
didn't.
week.
that in now.
I
One
didn't. I
week that
didn't.
means say rest
I
your
didn't.
front, put it on
I didn't.
rest, chill out. Or
Okay.
or if you know say oh man have no pum pum decorum, maybe you
Right.
need to schedule that tour when she gets her period.
Well, again, it's not our choice to schedule these tours. These are promoters making all these things.
Exactly.
As I'm saying. So the point I'm making is this, though. You know what I mean? If you trust your mate and you know
Mm-hmm.
what you have, don't run the race to pretty much fuck it up because a temporary moment while he's on the road.
Agreed.
I,
I
That's all I'm
agree with
saying.
I,
that.
So
But that's not what you I at least Amila pay attention because she said that's not what you said, sir. You switching it up. You
no, I
never said
didn't.
one
No,
week.
I just added that initially about a week. It doesn't
Yeah, but you
even
can't slip in that because that makes a
even if
complete difference.
even if it was a month, it shouldn't fucking matter. That's the point I'm trying to make to you, sweetheart.
I agree. If you have that level of relationship, yes, I
Right.
agree with you. It should not be that big of an issue because at the end of the day, if you are in a relationship with a person, and even
Uh-huh.
if you said, damn, you know, I want some, but that person is supposed to be the person that could scratch your itch. You're not supposed to
Right.
want it from
Right.
nobody else because you want
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
person. You understand me,
Absolutely.
Master? You want everything that comes with that person. But if it's a situation where the person is an info and they just need to get it, well, I mean, you may need to have a conversation with your person about toys or whatever.
Let me
Or
ask you
maybe
this
you're
real
going to
quick.
have to start financially preparing yourself to fly out your mate because you know that your mate is not in a position where they could chill for longer than 30 days.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this real quick, just to switch topic just a tad bit. Would you take someone who can actually sexually please you in its entirety over someone who you connect with on different levels?
You want me
Try
to
it,
answer
never
that?
work.
Yeah, I want you to answer that.
repeat that. Repeat that. Hold on. Repeat it again.
The question is, would you take someone who please you sexually, but there's no other connection, like spiritually, mentally, he doesn't soothe you, like you bring any ideas to the table, but he pleases you in other ways?
Oh my God. And nothing else?
And that's it?
No,
Just so?
That's it.
Just good sex? Would
That's
I be
how
with
much
that person
time?
over a person who I could build with? No.
right,
And I
No,
would
I
not
couldn't do it.
because at my age, remember, say you talking to a mother. I'm
right,
36 years old with 3 kids, so my life is a little bit different than maybe a 22-year-old, a 23-year-old, or what have you. You understand what I said? Me
yeah,
personally, no, because there is something wrong if all I am factoring is the sex or the lack thereof. If me and that other person have such a connection, then I must be in a position to have a conversation with the person and say,
my
"Babe,
point exactly. Go
right,
ahead,
but
go ahead.
you got to make sure that you know the level of relationship that you are in.
That's good.
If you
Very
don't
good.
know the
Mhm.
relationship that you're in,
Uh-huh.
you have
Correct.
to
That's
you have
true.
to sit
That's
down
true.
and you
That's
have to
true. That's
assess
true.
it yourself because
Right. That's
you
true.
might be thinking you're in one kind of relationship and the person is in a whole different relationship. Maybe
Hmm.
all you
Mhm.
are to the person is great sex and stability as
Right.
far as you pay a couple bills or whatever. It
Right.
might not be where you guys is on the same page. I was watching um I was watching a show or whatever the case may be, and there was a bunch of different artists, baby mamas on it, basically. And they was talking about how the industry affects the relationship and bun and blah, 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 and what have you, right?
Just like football
And
players,
a lot of these
NBA
girls,
players,
there was one girl in particular, she's a young girl, and she was a dancer. So, I mean, she was, you know, building up her own little career or whatever the case may be. She ended up that she been with this artist for a while. They had a kid together the whole night. Now, sex was not the issue. She understood that he was going to have to go on tour. He was going to be around women, this, that, and the third. He decided that he didn't want to go and do what he was doing. So in the same token, it's like once a major change is going to happen in the relationship across the board, you need to sit down and have a conversation with your partner, because you'll know whether or not that partner is still going to fit into the next stage of your life. Let's say, for example, you've been working on your career from 17 to like 22, 23, and you bust with a song at 23, and yo, everybody's calling you, you got to be here, there, and whatever. Your needs and your lifestyle from 17 to 23 are going to be different than your lifestyle and your wants from 23 on. Maybe that person might not necessarily be in a position to fit the bill at that point in time. It's not to say you want to give up your relationship, but you cannot change a person. Who they are is who they are. You have some people who cannot think in a bigger mindset except for what's right there in front of them. So it gets to the point where if you are out there and you providing and you working and you doing what you're doing, and the person knew what it was all along, and still they find themselves in a position where they're complaining or you making them miserable or whatever, you're not doing each other no justice of trying to hold on to something that they do not value. If they valued it, sex could not be the complaint.
Absolutely. So the premise behind me pitching that question to you guys is because, you know what I mean, you know, when I text you guys earlier in the chat saying that, you know what I mean, nothing is wrong with teaching a mate how to pretty much please, because it doesn't necessarily mean that he or she doesn't know how to do it. It's just a case where, you know what I mean, you want it to be done a certain you just know you pretty much communicate with he or she and let them know. And guess what? As soon as you do it, you start squirting ways we never start squirting before. You start seeing things we never normally see before. My thing is at the end of the day, the point to all of this is, or the lesson that should be learned from all of this is, being able to communicate effectively makes a huge difference.
But also being prepared to listen to that communication.
Absolutely.
And if it is not going to work in your favor, go. Because whether it hurts you now or it hurts you 2 months from now or 2 years from now, somewhere, somehow, somebody's going to get hurt in it. Use the prime example. Like I said, for people who you started off, it was just you and your mate. All of a sudden, some kids came in the picture. Now your mate is like, oh, you don't do this no more. You don't do that no more. Bro, I don't have time to think straight for myself. When was the last time I pissed in the toilet alone? There's always somebody, mommy. That in its own right, and I wish a lot of men would understand that. It's not that we don't have you as a priority, but you have got to understand that I now have new responsibilities because of the growth of our relationship. So you cannot get the same schedule and the same time that you had before. And if you can't get that through your head, then you are not a prime candidate to be in a relationship, because you are a self-serving person. You cannot be self-serving in any relationship, whether it be a business partnership, whether it be any, as long as it's a relationship, it requires 2 or more people. And if you are only being self-serving, ain't no way in hell that you're going to be able to worry about the other person's opinion or their feelings. So now when you come at the person, not you specifically, but you, the complainer, comes at the person and says, imagine when me and your folks used to die, and this, that, and the third. Yeah, when me and your folks used to die, I didn't have nobody else to be responsible for.
That was different vibration.
It's a whole different situation because of growth. It's just like if you know you and the person are in a relationship and you guys want to buy a house, right? Okay, you know that there's going to be a different set of financial responsibilities because you want to put money aside for that house. Now, that's not to say you should not still enjoy life and live, but maybe if you used to take 10 trips for the year, you might only be able to take 2, under the premise that you are pouring into a different aspect of the relationship for making it good across the board. So if you find yourself in a position where the biggest complaint and the problem is still going to be sex, then it's either a lack of maturity or you and click anymore the way you used to. Yes, you get along. Yes, you're familiar. Yes, you're comfortable. But no, you're not going to be fulfilled long term. I always use this example to men, and I say this. All right. Women are more in their head when it comes on to sex. If you don't feel good, the last thing you want to do is have sex. And it's not that we want to spite or be punishing to you as a man, but it's like, look, if I feel like I gained some weight, or women who just have kids and they end up with stretch marks and stuff like, it's like, if you are making me feel comfortable up here, I probably will be more susceptible and open to have sex with you. My body will react to you. You understand? But if you coming at me after I done had on a waist trainer all day because I'm trying to tuck in the belly that your baby just gave me, I don't really want you to come for my head because you've never been 8 hours in a waist trainer before.
They're really not even. They don't think about they make a woman feel when
exactly.
a woman.
You only think about what you are not getting and what you feel like you should get, and you cannot be like that. So I say this, and I know this sounds ridiculous. I would recommend any man on this live or anybody that actually listens to it after the fact or what have you, talk to your partner, this person that you're having sexual issues with, or you feeling like you're not being, talk to them like you would want somebody where did your mother to talk to your mother.
Right.
Yeah, for real. Because when you come out your face disrespectful and crazy,
you made a valid point just now, up until the point, because you made some valid points, but you start at the end of your statements, you just ruin them, just fuck it up.
They not ruined, they just not it's not. No,
here's the deal. It's conducive to the live, but at the same time, I'm gonna address what I think you fucked up.
Okay.
Because if I'm man enough to tell you that, you know what I mean, you have been doing an awesome job, I can also point it out, saying that, you know what I mean, this is where.
Comment section.
So here's the deal. The part when you mentioned just now, because I'm huge on listening. The part where you mentioned just now that, you know what I mean, if you're not being pleased or fulfilled in its entirety, you should walk away. That's where you actually just fuck up the whole mess just now. Here's why. There's something that's called compromising.
No, sir. Not when it comes to sex, partner.
We're not necessarily to sex. And that's this goes across.
But that was what this particular topic was about. It was about sex, not relationships as a whole. Some things you can compromise on, and some things you just can't, because that is how people are
so
built.
In that case, I'm happy you guys remind me. In that case, I mean, I wouldn't advise anybody for pretty much compromise on that at all.
Exactly.
No, I'm happy to remind you about that.
You feel like you're in a relationship and you're not being satisfied by your partner. First of all, I feel like you need to have the discussion with your partner. Right. So listen to me. This is what it is. I don't feel like you're satisfying me. Right now, I can't take a position here. Let's chill. Let's do something else. Let's come off of the bed and go on the table. Yeah. Let's go on the floor. Right. Let's put up standing here somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. Because
it's not, and once you have the conversation and your man don't seem to want to compromise, or your woman don't seem to want to compromise, then now you have to go to drastic measures.
Yep. And I'm gonna tell you this. You do have a lot of relationships out there like that right now as you speak. I'm talking about, as a matter of fact, I know 2 married couples, who at one point was facing the similar issues that we're actually talking about right now. And you know what? I mean, I think one of them did it, as far as I can remember. She know that, you know what I mean, she met someone who used to be in relationships with other females who were, you know, she know for balance it on her head and do whatever. You see what I'm saying? And she realized that, you know what I mean, she had everything besides doing all them stuff. So what she started doing, which I applaud her for, she got creative. She started watching videos. Nothing is wrong with that. That's the next phase of teaching you meet. Just like how some woman, you know what I mean, sometimes you meet some woman, them can't cook, them take classes. You see what I'm saying? It's just being able to have an open mind to know, you know what, this is what my mate want, just being able to please a person. Make sense?
Who is
and
more?
If it is something
let me
that
ask you a question
out
as a
of their
man.
way to learn, If your mate goes out of their way to learn and they do all of that, because I'm not knocking you, you're right. At the end of the day, any change that you want to see in the relationship, good or bad, start something or stop something, you have to communicate it. When you communicate it, you have to be mindful for the fact that you may not necessarily get the response or the reaction that you want. So you have to make sure that your delivery is one that is commensurate with your relationship.
I agree, especially a touchy topic like that. You can't just walk up and tell us, yo, listen, you can't fucking. I'm gonna tell you this straight up.
I tell you, I will tell you.
No, you can't do that, especially if it's someone who you care about a lot. You know what I mean? Words, you know what I mean? You have to pretty much.
All right, so let me ask you a question, right? I'm gonna ask you a question because I like different demographics of people to have different answers.
Absolutely, go ahead.
So let's say, for instance, there's a relationship, right? And not just a relationship now, it produces, you go from deadwood to relationship to engaged to married and kids and all of that is all involved. And now this is great and this is wonderful. And it's a situation where you, as the man, start to fall short for a medical reason. Let's say, for instance, something, God forbid, you get sick and you have to take a medicine, and the side effect of said medicine is you losing the golden touch.
Right.
Now, remember, you said communication, right? And you said learn and classes and this is it. And I'm for all of that. You should always go above and beyond the call of duty for a person that you really care for.
Absolutely.
But if your end all be all is that would not work, blue pill or not, what do you tell the woman who's in that relationship? Because what you asking her to do is not hurt your feelings and give you bun and still dead with you because of all of the whole sex where you did give her, which is great in its own right. But I'm going to be honest with you. What if, God forbid, that happens at 48, 49 years old?
You asking me what is
your prime? Your wife or your partner, whoever is still in their prime. So are you going to really tell me with a straight face that person should stay in the relationship with that man when I am now walk, whether it's a reason or not a reason? Because anything that you will have to take medicine-wise that will cause that to be affected, please believe you could have fixed it. Like high blood pressure. If you take lisinopril, that should make your dick stop working. You know what you could do? Nyam better food, CMAS, black seed oil, go to the gym, drink water, maybe stop just drinking Hennessy and having that shit sweat out of your beads. I'm just saying. Okay? Diabetes is something you take metformin, you take all of those all of the Januvia and all of the pills where you see. Well, guess what?
You know, so this is a real issue. That is really happening.
Yeah, because a lot of nasty man, especially Jamaican man, they don't own that part of it. You understand me? And as far as me concerned, me as a woman, right? No feel like it fear for a woman. If you say, well, my partner is not happy, let me do what makes my partner happy. Let me do what makes my partner happy. Let me do what makes my partner happy. And you're there to make your partner happy, whether you like it or not. And you're doing everything humanly possible to make sure that your partner is happy so you feel good in yourself. And then don't stop walk. Then what?
So
not only are you getting that bun, you're going to know when we have
to make you happy though. No, but you know me here. We doing everything to make the partner happy, but who makes us happy?
That part.
While we make
so
that part.
If I'm hearing you correctly,
yes.
Okay, you're saying that if over the years, because of drinking periodically and smoking and eating,
not even say that. Suppose it's an accident. Suppose it's a car accident. Right? God forbid it's a car accident or something happened. You get hurt at the job.
I get where you're going with this. Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
So let's just say whatever the case might be with me, with my wife.
I'm sorry, I was reading the comments. I'm listening. Go ahead.
And we've been together for God he knows when. And the reason why I'm saying, you said 48, you put a number on it. So at that point, I should be married at that point. Okay?
I was just throwing an example. Go ahead.
That's fine. And at this point, I'm assuming that me and this person know every single thing that's going on with me, personally, medically, business-wise, whatever the case might be. So at the same time, while I'm getting the news, she's getting the news at the same time because she's going to be at the hospital, correct? So she know all the different things, how we got here and everything. So you're telling me, before me even getting to women I get into, you're telling me your first premise that comes to your mind, oh shit, the pussy can't afford the pussy again. What we gonna do?
No, nobody said that was the first
Hold
premise.
on. Well, eventually we're gonna get there.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna listen for understanding. Go ahead, friend.
Okay. So you're telling me no, saying I mean, you're asking me rather, saying that, you know what I mean, what would be wrong, what would be so wrong if this woman started cheating on me after the fact? No, keep in mind, we're married. You're telling me that just because, you know what I mean, you're not okay with, you know, just because, you know, our norm would be, you know what I mean, now I'm gonna sit in the kitchen or the garage and just pounce upon you.
Basically, you saying that she should just deal with it. I don't know why you're taking so long to spit it out, baby.
Well,
Saying she should deal with it. Okay. So since we're on a limited time frame, let me tell you, should she deal with it? Yes, if she's married because she signed up for in sickness and in health. So you technically answered the example that I gave. So now to give you a different example, let's say 29 to 32 years old, works for the union, works doing masonry. God forbid you had this horrible accident at work. Now walk again.
Hands got, you know, probably hands got, you know, severe or some shit like that.
What happened?
No, but he used an example. So I'm saying, let's just say him hand get amputated or some shit.
No, we're not talking about hand. We're talking about body.
Or him cocky. All right, go on, time.
Yes, he got hurt at work. He's 29, somewhere between 29 to 32 years of age. And he got hurt at work. And y'all are not married. Yes, you've been, all right, let's say you've been together for, let's say 3 years. What's that, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So
you are using so many different variables, though, man. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. But you cannot speak a language that is only locked for just that situation.
You're right. I got you.
I won't even put married people in it because married people have a different commitment that they signed up for. Doesn't mean that all of them stick to it, but for the most part, there's a different set of rules that they're supposed to follow. So we won't put married people in this.
Okay.
I'm just talking about relationship-wise, period. You can't just say, oh, well, if you love me, you will understand. But if you love me, you would understand that I love our child and I am just now getting used to the fact that there's this new person. And I feel a way because when I lay down next to you at night, I have to lay down in this big, ugly bra. I never slept in a bra before. My boobs was free and clear because if I don't sleep in that bra, you're going to get drowned in milk. And that's embarrassing to me. How do you want me to love you and understand when you are in your situation, but you cannot understand when me tired because me I work a double for the whole week so that we can have the final money for the closing for that house. Remember that example I used before? Right. Or maybe because it's a situation where I have to work a little bit longer at work or the people in my work are stressing me out. Or maybe I'm coming off the heels of me being sick. Do you know that super women get sick sometimes? I know it's a hard
absolutely, and there's no such thing as that, and that's a whole different topic for a different show. This whole strong black bullshit. Anyways, yeah, you heard me correctly. We'll talk about that.
I agree. He said what he said. Keep going, friend.
Well, yeah, but no, and she don't know about it yet. We'll talk about that. But whichever way.
She know. Don't sleep on that.
No, she don't. Obviously, she don't. Look, because
you
guys were built for that. Whichever way. So here's the deal.
What I said is this.
No, make your point. No, you make a point.
Relationship, right?
You make a point. I get you.
If you're gonna ask for change on anything across the board, put yourself in the worst case scenario. Would the person or would you expect the person to come at you with that same sense of understanding?
Absolutely.
Now,
so
that's not a yes or a no for every relationship, but these are questions to ask yourself before you bring up the potential of sex being an issue. You understand the message? Or anything for that matter.
A while ago, kill my friend to push the class.
Where do you come from?
Them down the south.
Where they come from?
Just down the lane, there's uncle. Yeah. Jaja. Them kill my friend them to bomb a class.
So overtake this one, overtake.
Okay, man, kill off my friend them after them back. And like some friend them wrong, my friend them up on the right away, I go do them bomb a class, John.
This is Leopard representing for Backbush TV. Whoa! Backbush TV show more footage in the world and none no shorten. When me a drive Pro Box, has me arrive them say me car hot. Backbush TV. Leopard. This is Leopard.